Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I wanted to talk about what anxious, preoccupied folks need to heal, or it can be helpful to heal to have a healthy relationship. I'm going to make a video like this for all three of the insecure attached styles. And so I'm not picking on one or the other, I'm making it for all of y'all. And today we're going to focus on anxious, preoccupied. They're going to be in a row. So I don't know which one's going first, which one's going second. I don't know. But you're going to see them all like within a span of 3 days. All of them will be posted. The first one, for any of you guys who are anxious, preoccupied, it can be helpful to learn to self-regulate without using the relationship to be your only source or your primary source of regulation. Some fearful avoidants do this too, but it's a little bit more common with anxious preoccupied. Let's talk about what it looks like so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Sometimes you feel anxious and then you text, you call, you check, or you might over-explain. I see that too. And then your mood actually is dependent on how the other person responds or their mood based on what you're looking for. So let's say you're upset about something that doesn't have to do with them, but then you pick a fight or you bring up something that does bother you about them, which is probably because you were bottling it up and you didn't bring it up at the start. So it is valid. It's a valid thing that you bring up, but maybe you caught them at a different time. Like maybe they're at work and you call them on their lunch, their lunch break, and it's your significant other and they're tired and a little irritated, not at you, but just in general. And now you take it as they are irritated at you and they don't care about what issue you just brought up. And so sometimes what can really help is to actually wait out your anxiety. So when it kind of spikes, take a couple minutes, maybe 20 minutes to process it or just feel it, honestly, and get more comfortable with that feeling before reaching out. So you can take a walk for that 20 minutes. You can take a nice, relaxing, long shower. You can journal, you can draw, whatever you like to do. Do anything. Go play video games. I don't care what you're doing, as long as it makes you happy and it helps you a little bit. That can help you to revisit it and see if you're a little bit more calmer. It doesn't mean you cannot reach out, but it's just you're using other things in conjunction. That's the best way to put it. The next one is for ask for reassurance directly. I think a lot of people think if you need to ask for reassurance that you shouldn't ask for reassurance. I don't agree with that because we do so many things for avoidance to kind of navigate their issues and it helps them. You could do the same thing with anxious preoccupied. People who are anxious preoccupied, it's not like they're going to ask for reassurance forever and ever and ever. Often once they have enough reassurance, they usually are okay. And maybe they need more reassurance than other attachment styles, but it's so dismissive avoidance need more space. Like, I just think everyone deserves to be themselves and accepted and then heal on their own time or their own terms. And so all that anxious preoccupied need to do for this one is just ask for it directly. And it's up to your partner to be the one to actually give you that reassurance because they should. Maybe you could say, I'm feeling uncomfortable. We haven't seen each other in a week. I know I'm seeing you tomorrow, but can you reassure me that you still care about me? That's it. And let them reassure you. If they don't or they get upset at you, that's something you could say, I really need this. I try to give you space because I know that's what you need. This is something I need. We're different, but I think that we should equally take care of one another. Something along those lines. It's hard, right? Relationships are tricky. I'm saying it in a way where I'm acting like it's easy. I know that it's not, but I think it's helpful to just understand the clarification of what it would look like if it was a little more streamlined so that could be your goal for what you want to reach. The next one is reduce overgiving to receive love. A lot of people think anxious preoccupied is just like crashing out or being upset or pulling away to get attention, something like that. And that's just not true. A lot of people who are anxious, preoccupied don't even do what I just mentioned. Those are like more protest behaviors. Some of them do, or they do it very little, but almost all of them I feel like does this. They try to be easy so they're not left. They try and give their partner a lot of time and patience, and they don't want to prompt them or push them as much because they're afraid that their partner is going to leave, and then they build resentment quietly. And then that resentment starts not being so quiet anymore, and then they start getting angry. This is probably one of the most common issues with anxious individuals. It's not an issue with them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like this is why so many people think anxious, preoccupied sometimes ask for too much because initially they don't even see how much the anxious preoccupied sacrificed for like so many years. And so when it builds up, now they're asking for everything all at once, but it's not necessarily because they have too high expectations. If anything, I feel like it's the opposite. They're expecting so little and they're not getting that, and they're so frustrated by that. That's what I see is what it looks like. If anyone's anxious preoccupied, which I know some of you guys are, you could clarify that better than I could. Like I would love if you could explain that mechanism if you are aware of it more. But that's my observation. But I never want to act like I know everything, because I really don't. Really, I don't. So take everything with what I say with a grain of salt, every video I make. But I noticed that. So if you do that, call your partner out when things are boiling over a little bit, and don't always make it easy for them. Let's say, for example, we have a couple, a dismissive avoidant and anxious preoccupied. Some dismissive avoidants are very selfish without meaning to. So maybe every time, let's say it's a male and the anxious preoccupied is a female, and she drives over to visit him, every time that she's visiting him, maybe he says, hey, can you go to CVS and pick this up? Or can you go to Publix and pick up some milk? And she does that for him, even though she thinks it's annoying because she feels like he's being selfish, and he probably is. And he's not thinking of it like that. He's thinking logically that this will make it easier so that he doesn't have to go get milk, and he's thinking about himself. He's not thinking about the financial issue. Maybe he's paying her to do it, like he sends her the money. That's not the issue. It's the issue that he is thinking, how do I get this burden? What makes it more streamlined? Oh, well, she's coming to visit me anyways. Maybe she can just do it. She wouldn't mind. And she doesn't say anything. And so it works for him. He doesn't realize she minds. But if she said, I don't want to, like, I'm coming to visit you, I'm wearing this dress, whatever it is, it's cold outside, I don't want to do that, whatever her view is, and she's like, to me, that doesn't feel very good. I don't want you to ever ask that again. She is too afraid to say that because she thinks that he's going to get mad or he's going to stop talking to her, or whatever her fears are deep inside. And so she doesn't bring that up. And he never realizes how selfish he's being because she's not saying anything. And then one day she crashes out and gets mad at him for it. That's an example that I feel is something that can build up over time. That's not a little thing. But some people might think, oh, it's just logistics and he does pay you. He's not trying to be selfish. But the issue is the fact that she's probably overgiving in so many other areas. Plus, in my opinion, that would be so annoying. I would not like that. The next one is, it's important to not build a life that doesn't, like, it's important to not build a life that's completely focused on them. Or another way to put it is build a life that doesn't necessarily collapse without them. So have friends, meet other people that are new, do other hobbies, do something that you really enjoy so that you can actually find yourself liking your life, regardless of if they're with you or not. Of course, you're probably going to like it with them more. I think that's kind of a big lie that we tell ourselves, that if your partner's like, it's not going to make that much of a difference. You're going to still love your life without them. Probably if you guys break up, it's going to be really hard at first. That's kind of normal. But in general, you still have things to fall back on regardless. Or maybe it's not about that. Maybe you guys will still be together forever, but this will help alleviate the pressure that you put on the relationship. It'll just make things a little easier. The next one is just tolerating emotional uncertainty. Every attachment style, even secure folks, can benefit from doing this a little bit. It's really important. That just means if something makes you uncomfortable, sometimes sit in it for a little bit and just get more comfortable with it. Let's say you want to have a relationship discussion and you're an anxious preoccupied. You really want to talk about the fact that you guys haven't had intimacy in the bedroom in a year. And you guys do talk about it, but you had a nightmare and you want to process it. Maybe you can take some time to think about it and maybe talk about it after work instead of during lunch, just so you can process it and understand it a little bit more. And the last one is just understanding and reducing those protest behaviors by just, when you notice you're doing it, literally try to stop doing it. Or if you do it, apologize and say, hey, that's something I'm working on. That would be like accusations, threats to leave, or withdrawals to get a reaction. So let's summarize and then we'll wrap it up. Learn to regulate without using your relationship as a dominant regulation. Ask for reassurance directly. Reduce overgiving. Build a life that doesn't collapse without them, tolerate emotional uncertainty, and reduce/stop those protest behaviors. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.